I know it's pretty nice having the championship wrapped up around early. It's literally like I have no stress at all. And yeah, I'm just gonna have some fun. And obviously I want to win because it's still 50 G's to win. So yeah, my goal is to go win and do whatever it takes.
So we'll open up to the media. We'll start with Michael Lindsay.
Hello. Hayden. Fourth professional championship, 2 SMXs, a pro motocross, and now a divisional supercross title. In terms of record books, divisional supercross titles are looked down upon as maybe the lesser item, but you're the kid that we saw riding a supercross tracks in his yard since he was on 65s. I heard you last week and being like, finally, I know it's taken maybe a little more time. For you personally as a rider though, where does that title rank in?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to finally get a supercross one. I feel like I wanted to take off all 3 on a 250. And I feel like the SMX one is a big deal since it's like you have 3 rounds, so it's pretty much top dog in that one. But the OG, SX, and MX is kind of like where I feel still is like the legendary titles to have. So I had to get those, and that's why it was such a relief finally getting the SX one, especially last year. I broke my race right before the first round, and then I got second in points. I think I lost by like 4 points. So it's been a chip on the shoulder, and yeah, we finally got it off.
Follow up for you, the SMX ones, like you said, are very short, very intense. Pro motocross is a grind. What different lessons have you learned in a Supercross championship? What have you learned from this title that you didn't, learn in the other prior ones?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is how consistent you can be. I've been on the podium the last 8 rounds, and that was the main thing. Is just every weekend be on the podium, and I figured I could win the championship that way in Supercross, and made it work.
Scott, you're your moto now. Hayden, what was the relationship like with Cole this week?
Yeah, we're still friends. Cole knows that this is not a teammate sport when you line up on that starting line. It's a 1v1, literally. Like, I mean, a 1v21, pretty much everyone out there. But a teammate is someone you train with at the track. A teammate isn't someone that you race with. He's out there, he wants to win. He's not my friend either when he's out there, and he's trying to take the wins from me as well. So teammates, when you're out on the track, it's off. It's time to race, and teammates are meant for the practice track or at home training.
Last year you were the winner of this race, and I think it got overshadowed because there was so much championship talk around this weekend. Where is your mindset? You think about a year ago, you didn't win this title, and all the success you've had since then going into this round. Can you reflect on then and think about where you're at now?
Yeah, I feel like last year I was kind of the guy, I feel like I was like Hayden's supposed to win, and when I was at the last round, I kind of wanted to prove a point like I was going to be the top dog coming into outdoors, and that's what I did last year. And I feel like this year I've kind of made a statement winning the championship that I'm still on top. So I obviously want to come win this round because that'd be really cool.
This is going to be a dogfight tomorrow night. Can you think about where you were going into Pittsburgh? It seemed like your back was up against the wall a little bit, and how do you feel now, much closer to winning your second championship?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm pretty happy to be there. Last 2 weeks ago, the win was really important for me. I had to do it to be right there, and yeah, like you said, a lot different than last year. I had a nice 15 points gap, and now the goal is, I think, pretty easy. I have to beat those 2 guys to be able to win the championship. So that's only one thing in my mind, and I'm gonna do everything I can tomorrow to do that.
Thank you. We'll open it up to the media.
Michael Lindsay from Vialle for RJ Hampshire. RJ, I believe tomorrow night will mark your final 250 professional career race. How's it feel at this point? I mean, you've been in the class a long time, you've accomplished a lot. Is it a feeling of ready to move on, or are you going to really miss it at this point?
I mean, it's easy to say you're ready to move on. I've been around a while, but luckily I won't be 30 races to race in a 450 class, or 250. So yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to this next chapter, but really focused on tomorrow. A lot's gone into this. It's been a grind of a year. So yeah, all comes down to tomorrow night, and just thankful to be in this position.
Last follow-up for you. You said it's been a grind. You guys have all faced unique challenges this season, but we know particularly you, even coming into the season, had quite a few challenges against you. Coming into the Pro Motocross Championship, can you confirm if you will be at the first round with some of the injuries you faced?
Yeah, I plan to race all 11 rounds and SMX rounds.
Michael Antonovich with course heading. This will be for Tom. You've won multiple championships and been in this high-pressure situation, knowing the day is coming. But how do you approach the week? Do you run through the scenario multiple times? Do you envision the track map in your head, or do you just let the process come on Saturday?
Yeah, I actually had the same in 2022 for my last MX2 World title. That was down to the last moto. I had to win the last moto, and I could deliver. So it was nice. It's not always easy. I think every year, every championship is different, and this is a Supercross one, so it's also a little bit different. But yeah, I had a good week. I felt great on the bike. Tried to do some testing a little bit with because we ride some altitude. So the bike's a little bit slower, and then we try to make the bike works a little bit during the week. And I had a great week. So yeah, we'll see how we feel on the track this afternoon, and should be good for tomorrow.
Final one for Seth Hammaker. Seth, your two opposition up there, they have both been at this a long time. They have, as they said, they've both been in a very pressure cooker situation. This is your first time in it. Where you were preseason with injuries in the past and other things, I know every rider has a lot of belief in themselves and they want to race for a championship. So coming into this race, do you feel the same pressure that they probably have? You feel like they talk about feeling in their prior runs? Or is there anything you can fall back on them like, hey, maybe I didn't expect to be here this year, I'm just reveling in the opportunity? You know, how do you balance out the emotions? How do you personally think right now?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, you know, making the move to Florida and, you know, changing a lot in my program, there was, you know, the plan was just to kind of get through the season healthy and just build on each round. And here we are at the final race, you know, have a shot at the championship, which, you know, you always expect to be in this position, or like you want to be in this position, but you don't know when the time will come. But here we are now, and, you know, this is the position. And I feel like, you know, these guys have been in some, you know, championship battles, and each of them have, you know, the record to show for that. But, you know, for me being my first time, I'm just going to go out there and, you know, try to win the race really, and just not try and overthink anything, because, you know, if I thought I'd be in this position at the beginning of the season, I don't know if I would have thought I would be. So it's just cool to be in this position. We work hard for it, and maybe not as much pressure, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to get this done. And you know, one race to do it. We came this far, so I'm gonna give it everything I have.
Sorry, one little follow-up. Any words of wisdom from Mitch this week, or a funny comment?
Nope. Just, yeah, he believes in me, and the whole team does, everyone around me. So just with that, I feel confident, and with everything in the program. So I'm just excited to go out there and see what I can do.
Talk about strategy and how you're going to approach the main event, knowing that you don't necessarily have to win the race, but you can't fall off the back end too far either.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tight battle all season, so it's super cool to get here. It's fun to be in the hunt like this. It's fun to be close. But yeah, I think for me, you know, it's easy to look at the what ifs and, you know, sit back and do that, but I'd like to race like I normally race. You know, that's what's been working for me, and yeah, I love racing here in Salt Lake. I've had a lot of success, so I'm gonna go for the win if it's there. Obviously, if it's not, you know, you kind of adjust your race strategy. But yeah, I think for me, as long as I keep the normal mindset of going out there to try to win on Saturday, that's usually the best place to be.
Michael?
Cooper Webb, I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of weeks, your championship position. I find this so cool. You have two titles right now. That's what Chad Reed and James Stewart had by the time their premier career was wrapped up. Both their titles as well had a gap between them, and neither of them were able to accomplish a third premier championship, and they ended up racing basically a younger generation afterwards. You're now in that position. You're the favorite for it. I find that just from a fan standpoint, industry standpoint, like naturally I look at the potential third titles potentially being maybe the greatest you've had so far because of that, because it puts you on a pedestal that some of the best that we respect in the sport weren't able to do. I know it isn't done yet. The emotions will hit if it happens tomorrow night, but in saying that, do you agree that the third one possibly could be the biggest one so far?
Yeah, you know, it's awesome to think that, right? And to be 29 years old, I still feel great, like we always say, but it is, I've been pro for a long time, so to race the different guys, I mean, I remember when Chase came in as a rookie in 21, and that feels like forever ago, right? So I think it's really cool. Him, you know, he's going to break a lot of records someday, but for the time being, hopefully I can you know, take that step and get it done. But it is super cool, like I said, to race generational talents of, you know, Eli and Kenny, and now it's the new guys with Chase and Jed, and then us older crew are still there. So I think it is by far the most competitive championship I've been a part of, and it'll be super cool if you get that done.
Short follow-up for you. In this championship, what do you believe is a lesson that you've learned now that you have an A or point in your career? What have you had to improve on the most to be in this position?
I think just you get better. As cliche as that sounds, that's like for me what you're constantly looking to do, whether it's speed, fitness, technique, starts, and I think that's just something this year that over time, you get better every year. And I think for me, I was good last year, but I've been able to also improve from even last year and clean up on a few of those different things. And it's just really cool to see. I never pictured myself racing this late into my career and at 29, and honestly, I never knew if I'd get another opportunity to be a champion again or put myself in that position. So I personally believe that, but it's not always the case, right, with the talent that we have and how gnarly this sport is. So I think for me, it's just something that I get to wake up and try to be better every day, and that's what I feel like I've done this year is been the best version of myself.
Alex Gober, MotoOnline.com. For Chase, you come into this weekend with a minor deficit, but obviously an important one. When you look back on this season and compared to past years in your career, how would you rate it and summarize the past 16 rounds?
Yeah, for me, it's been a good year for me. I think compared to last year, I've grown a lot. Obviously, last year on a new bike, I only won 2 races, and this year I'm sitting on 6 so far. So we made a lot of progress. I think racing Coop, it's been different than it has been in the past. He's so mentally strong, and he really forces you to be perfect every night, and that's something that, for me, I think I've struggled with in my career. So I think he's forced me to be better in that aspect, and it's been really good. I think I've got myself to a better point in my career and as a rider and racer. So for me, I'm obviously in a little bit of a tough spot tomorrow night, but either way, I'm happy with how I've raced this year and the improvements I've made.
Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. This will be for both of you. And Cooper, kind of piggybacks off of what you just finished up with. Last weekend, I got to watch both of you guys roll out of the semi and just the way you went about things. You getting on the bike after Peanut gets it off the stand. Somebody said something and you said lock in. Corey hit the starter button on your bike. Your dad came over and said something to you and Jade. To see that up close is incredible. For you guys to live in that moment, what of this season will you remember of those times like that 20 years down the line? Like when you talk about that stuff, Cooper, what is that time for each of you?
I think that's just the competitiveness, right? I've been a lot more relaxed before with other competitors, so I think that's where it is. Like, it's truly, you have to put yourself in a position of like war, right? Like you're headed to war, and that's how it's been every race this year, especially early in the season when you're fighting for every position. I mean, I remember my bad race was A2, and I rode as great as I could, and it was 8th place, I think, right? And so it's a gnarly sport, man. To wake up every day, put yourself at the top of the sport, and grind, and physically, mentally, emotionally, you're always dealing with something. So pushing your body to the limit there, and staying focused every weekend is. It's not easy to do. So I think when you do get these wins and at this point even podiums, it's like, man, you really kind of have earned them straight up. So yeah, I think that's what I cherish the most, right? It's not easy, right? If it was easy, there'd be 200 champions in the world. So I think that's what makes it super special when you are able to perform at the highest ability and get race wins and ultimately win championships.
I think for me, I don't think you can find 2 more competitive guys going at it. I think obviously he wants to win and I want to win, but I think it's even gotten to a new level. I think as far as me, I'm super competitive, and I think he's the same way. So I think when you see that, it's very intense, especially before the main events. Everything's got to go right and in your way, and you just kind of go out there and put your best foot forward. But you got to be locked in to do that. So I think when you see that intensity, it's just 2 guys that want to win more than anything.
Honestly, I feel most of us in this room have felt or said this about you in the past or at any point in your careers. Hey, Cooper Webb takes the wins when they're there. He takes the seconds when they're not there. But also in the same breath, we talk a lot about your clutch performances, the nights that you kind of will things to happen. So when you hear those comments from competitors, media, everybody, do you think that's an accurate representation of your racing style? Or do you ever think to yourself, like, man, some of those nights, like, I really do have to force the issue, and I don't know if people appreciate that at times. Like I said, Jason, I know me as a caller, I know we've all pretty much have said that at some point, because that's kind of just a default that people think of you.
Yeah, I think it's a unique position, right? Like you said, I'm not no flashy or always going to be the fastest guy, but I think it's always a compliment hearing, good things like that, but it's the same way, like we all have our strong points, and I do think that's one of mine, is to be able to handle pressure and perform, when the time is needed to perform, and step up when you need to step up. So that's something that, I feel is an accurate assessment that I have for the majority of my career been able to do, and it's a cool feeling, right? There's times I wish, though, I had the raw, talent or speed of this guy next to me, right? But I think that's what also has made me step up on the other end is, there's some nights where you go to the gate like, hey, I'm probably in a position to not win, and I almost tricked myself into never thinking that, all right? Like, I don't ever go to the line thinking that anyone can beat me. So that's a good thing I have going on my side, and hopefully I take that with me for as long as I can.
So me and my coworker Lewis were debating this, I think this week on our pod, and we were trying to decide, when you look at a rider season, how just motocross is in general, we're so focused on the last couple of results. Your season started off great, had the lull in the middle, it's been coming back around. However, when you take a farther step back to where we kind of predicted you preseason. I mean, when you look at your whole path to basically, you weren't unknown, but maybe to a general fan, they didn't know about you when you got signed, when you impressed the Futures, got this KTM deal. You came in last year, had impressive individual performances, but still didn't have some of those peak moments, top threes, top fives. So coming in this year, it's kind of like, okay, he can build there. Let's see him get top fives. Let's see him podium. You go out and win. The sport's just weird like that. So what I guess I'm trying to ask you is, we were trying to debate, hey, has it been an amazing year for Julian Beaumer, looking at what we thought preseason would happen, and you weigh the highs? Or do you personally look at what happened? Do you also focus how the sport does at some of the lows in the middle point too much and be like, oh, this could have been more? Or can you take the appreciation out of it?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you look at last season, I didn't get a top five, which that was my goal last year, was to get a top five, and I didn't get that. So I think I was a lot more frustrated last year than I could be with this year. But I think for me, overall, coming into this year, with the preseason I had, the way I was riding, I didn't have anything on my mind but winning. So looking at that middle part of the season, I'm frustrated with it. I think there was a lot of things I could have done different, whether I had the shoulder injury or not. I think either way it was going to be the same outcome, and I struggled a little bit in that middle sector. So I'm not happy with it. I'm frustrated, and I think that's what's motivated me these last 2 rounds to really come out and prove what I didn't prove in that middle sector of the season.
Nice.
I think everyone, obviously I started off fast, but I think you can think of it in a sense as like some people start off slow and then pick it up, and maybe I started off a little bit too fast, and I wanted to come out here and prove that it's the end of the season and I can still do what I did in the beginning of the season. So that's my goal, come out and try to prove that I'm one of the best in this class.
So we've seen the improvements the last couple weeks, you getting back to your best. Your stuff that, the general person doesn't see. I'm in SoCal, I see you out prepping for outdoors, see you out testing. I've had this conversation with a lot of guys lately. A couple of the Tuesdays I've been to Fox have just been insane chaos. And it kind of comes to more conversation. I'm surprised at the guys that stay in SoCal for the summer. Like, I'm a California born and raised guy, but I get it, man. It's tough to have quality riding, quality sprints, quality work. Does that start to weigh on you yet? I know you have a very solid program and base in the way you're set up in California, but have you started thinking about those pros and cons going forward in your career?
Yeah, for sure. I obviously last year I was in Cali all summer, and it's not necessarily for me. I think the riding's fine. Obviously, when you're mid-season like we get, we're not riding that much anyways. We're riding, for me, I'm riding 2 days a week, so it's not like I'm riding very much, so I don't think it's that big of an issue. I think more for me, it's the travel.
Yeah.
Almost every outdoor round besides the first 3 are all the way on the East Coast, so the travel day's really long. You have a layover. It's tough in that scenario. So for me, my plan is to get out to Florida this outdoor season after Thunder Valley and stay there for the summer. Just for me, mainly travel-wise. It's a lot
travel's-
easier on the body.
Travel's huge. Like it's a good thing it was actually East Coast, but if you were some reason West-based and trying to race those 4 East Coast races they did, your Pittsburgh, your New Jersey, even us like media flying every week, I'm like, these are long weekends. These are one corner of the country literally to the other, and your competition gets that extra couple hours of recovery, that couple extra hours to stretch when they get back and just get to work, where sitting on a plane with a bunch of people.
Yeah, for sure. And even for me, like after Philly, the delays, I got stuck in Atlanta after Philly on Sunday for 12 hours. So it was like, when I think of it like that, it's just like, this is ridiculous. So I need to change that for me personally. But other than that, yeah, definitely could have done some different things this season.
Last one for you. So based on your preseason, you expected a lot of yourself coming into Supercross. Now, same breath, the bit of outdoor testing you've been doing lately, does that expectation weigh as high from what you're feeling right now? Like to put it bluntly, you're basically saying you expected to win in Supercross. Do you feel similar about that in Pro Motocross, or do you expect there still to be a little bit more of a building period?
No, I don't think I should be anything less than on the podium and winning races outdoors either. So for me, I want to show up and come out swinging.
Jordon, looking back on this year, I know from a very just like 1,000-foot mark, it could be, hey, another year Jordon won, another year Jordon could have been there in the championship. But from yourself here at the end of the season, do you feel like you're closer than ever? Do you feel like, next year you're going to be back to get it done?
Yeah, I feel like I was really close last year. I think that the last year was kind of like that closer than ever feeling. This year, obviously, -1 crash in Dallas that really derailed the season and, has really put a damper on the rest of the season since then. I think that we were in a really, really good spot, but, the bike's way better than where we even started the season this year. And knowing a lot of the stuff that we learned and that we can build off of going into next Supercross season, I feel like I'm only getting better over the last few years and getting stronger. So, I think that next year, obviously, we're looking forward to it. Gonna try to get the championship and just mark that last thing off the list of the 250 class.
Nice. I know there's been a bit of talk more in the middle of the season, like what your career path would be next year, because we know you're under a multi-year deal with Triumph. You have options to move into the 450. They're getting ready to debut that bike. I heard some talk back and forth on whether you would be on it or not next year. As of right now, have you made a decision for Supercross? Will we see you back on the 250 next year?
As of right now, we're going to be back on the 250 for next year. Still have a little bit to talk about. The team's still kind of just decisions all around of kind of, what the team's looking to do for next year and everything. So as of right now, we'll be on 250 for Supercross next year.
Other than what we see when you talk about at the races with the bike improvements through the year, the team itself is still young, and there were some changes coming into the year with staff. There's been more different people switch out, brought on, etc. What growth have you also seen in the team in the time you've been here? What's the biggest thing that stands out to you there?
Yeah, I think that it's, obviously the team, everyone that came from very successful backgrounds of successful teams, everything in the past 5-6 years. So the team is already very well assembled. Part of the reason why I came was because the team was so well assembled and such proven people on the team from every aspect of it. But I think that with having more riders on the team now, with myself, Austin, obviously Styles hasn't been on the bike very much, but just having more guys, even Mickle coming over for outdoors, is like, there's so much more data that we can put on the bike, right, compared to last year with it just being Jalek. Obviously what they did with Jalek, the bike was already really good, proved that coming out at A1 and stuff. So, it's been definitely a learning curve. I think even Jeremy coming over from, he's been at Star, which has been so successful and so proven over the last few years, and him stepping into this, I'm sure it was a big change, but everyone's kind of, getting along good and really trying to figure out like where we need to go to make that next step.
Last one for you. Pro Motocross prep, how's it going so far? How do you feel? What are your expectations?
Yeah, it's going good so far. I really like the bike. I feel really good on it. It's always a little bit hard whenever you're on a new bike to really, say, oh, my bike's amazing, like handling, like the power feels really good on it. But whenever you get to the race, like you can't replicate Hangtown second moto, at practice. So, I think everything, I think I've gotten a lot better over the years. Obviously I have a lot of experience, and maybe not as much experience in outdoors, but I've gotten a lot better at knowing what to pick and choose from in the practice track of what I like and how to change my bike. So I feel really good. Expectations are to do better than last year. I had a pretty good season last year overall in outdoors. I learned a lot and got a lot better throughout, towards the end of the season. So just take all that stuff and just kind of keep, putting in a full summer and all those races, and try to be up front and battling for podiums.
Do we meet expectations this season? Exceed them? Where do we feel coming into this final round looking back?
I've definitely met expectations. Exceeded, not fully. I would like to do it more often, not just a one and done. But Saturday is a new night, so we'll try our best. But I'm proud of the season overall, yes.
Is there anything you didn't check off so far this season? Did you have little individual results, individual goals you had that you haven't quite checked, or have we ticked the boxes?
Whole shot of Maine. On a whole shot of Maine.
You are a good start. What the heck, man?
I know. I'm good at getting second and third coming on the first turn.
Second's just the first loser.
Yeah, I know.
As Tony Archer would say.
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Dad. Apologize to him, not to us. Apologize to him. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
But yeah, honestly, I just want a whole shot. I would like the whole shot of Maine and start up front and just put in my laps.
If we do start up front, how are we prepared for the first lap, or are we going to hold our breath?
No, I'm prepared. Yeah, I feel like I ride more calm when I'm.
Oh, when you're
there.
leading?
Yeah.
Well, that's not saying
just
much.
Last year didn't really do that well doing that because I went from here, there, and into the wall. So. Hi, Emma.
Let's not repeat that.
Yeah.
Hello, Mrs.
Hi. I just wanted to say hi. I haven't seen you today.
I love you.
Have fun. Love you too.
Mwah.
Aw, sweet.
She's pretty much told me to don't suck this weekend.
That's what that actually means?
Yeah.
That's good. Don't suck. Well, we've had a solid year, and I'm waiting for the second coming of Schock this outdoor season.
Yeah,
450
summer
clips are looking good.
of Schock 2.0. That's the goal.
Colin Park, 4th year in professional Supercross, and definitely that breakout year that I think you've been wanting, that people around you, people who've seen you ride, have been kind of waiting for. In saying that, when I say breakout, has it met your expectations, or have you exceeded your expectations so far this year?
Kind of tough to say. I'd say more that I met my expectations. I kind of wrote down all my goals for the season, and I'm just clicking them off one by one. So that's been nice. And I still got one more goal to check off the list that I can get done this weekend. So yeah, overall though, it's been obviously a really good season. I'm coming in 5th in points here to Salt Lake, and I'd love the plan is to finish top 5 in the championship. That'd be awesome for me and the team. So but overall it's been a really good year. It's been a good year of building, and definitely the year that I was looking for out of myself, but it's something that I've also expected out of myself for a good bit of time now.
Nice. So, like I said, the big goal is to keep that 5th place overall in the Supercross point standing. That would be a huge achievement for you because, again, you've got your first top 5 overall. We got a podium.
Yeah.
Wait, race. Podium's a podium.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Top 5 in championships. Where do we move from here? Because outdoors has always been a unique ticket for you. I believe you're going to race the opening couple rounds on a 250 to try to stay in 250 SMX contention.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been talking about. That seems to be the plan right now. We'll kind of get that kind of set in stone this weekend. So, yeah, that's probably the plan. But like I said, we'll kind of see. It's all just because SMX. I would love to. The 2 years that I've done SMX, I've had to go in the LCQ, and that's no fun. It's just a pressure cooker each weekend. So would love to go in top 20 seated and stress-free and just go race my dirt bike and just have to worry about that. So, but yeah, we'll kind of see how it plays. And all I need to do is focus on this weekend right now, get as much points as possible, and secure top 5 in the championship. That's the goal right now.
What has led to this year? Like when you look at now, you're almost at the end of the season. You look back, what has led you to such an improvement to the breakout year? Has this, as bluntly it is, like the capability's been there. So this has been possible, but what allowed you to finally break through this year and put it together?
Yeah, it's been definitely an accumulation of a lot of things. Honestly, last year I felt like I was in a really good spot and then got hurt at round 1 and really took the wind out of my sails, I feel like, for the rest of the year. It was just really tough to come back from that, to put in all the work, and me and the team last year, and then to get hurt at round 1 was just a huge letdown, and then just struggled in outdoors. And this year I think I just came in with a chip on my shoulder with a lot to prove, not only to myself, but some people that didn't necessarily believe in me. So it just feels really good, and like I said, we still have some goals to tick off this weekend, and I'm looking to do that. So But yeah, it's just, and also, you know, I got a mental coach and he's helped a ton. And man, it's just, I can't tell you it's just one set thing. It's at this level of racing, it's just all these little things that add up to be so much. And that's just what you're seeing this year. I put in a lot of hard work and got a great group of people around me and in my corner. And I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, the days that you're not feeling it or the days that you've lost hope a little bit. I mean, everyone does. And last summer I had quite a few of those days. And so having those people around me to lift me up and keep us going. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just me that's put in the time to get these results. My trainer, Blake Savage, Heath Harrison's been helping me out a lot this year as well. And as well as the team, you know, the Phoenix Honda team, we've put in a lot of work this season. And you know, I didn't have a ton of time on the bike before the season. I had a month, but that was good enough. I knew that, look, this is the time I got, and I'm going to make the most of it. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, we've been just trying stuff each weekend just to get better. And you know, it's like I said, it's just not one thing that's you're just gonna wake up one day and be able to do it. It's just so much work. And yeah, that's just what you're seeing right now.